Greetings and welcome to Education and More's Learn Python 3 Programming at a Snail's Pace. My name is Marcus Gardner and I'm the instructor for this course. In today's video, we're going to learn some uses of lists. Some of them that you've never even thought of for using for lists. And the reason why I want to introduce these types of problems to you is to get you thinking when you come up with problems that maybe lists might be the answer. Because granted, when you hear some of these choices, you're going to say, wow, never thought that lists could be used in this way. And some of these are very famous, but you probably haven't seen these before. So I'm going to introduce you some, and I'm going to ask you to try to do the program. And probably in the next video, I might give you the solution, or we'll just see how it goes from here. Okay? Or I might actually do the solution here. Haven't actually planned it all out yet, but anyway, let's go ahead and go through this. So, finding primes. If you asked a random high school or university student what is the fastest way they know how to find a prime number or whether a number is prime or not, would you be surprised that 99% of them don't know the best way? Best meaning fastest way? Well, how about you? What do you think is the fastest or best way to know a number, like, for example, 101, whether it's prime or not? How many divisions would you have to do in order to find out whether it's a prime or not? Go ahead and try out. Now, probably you already know 101's a prime, but ask yourself, how many divisions would you, let's assume you didn't know it's a prime, would you have to take before you realized, yes, prime? Okay? You'll be surprised what the answer is. All right. You might get answers like, well, you divide by numbers 2 until the number minus 1. In other words, 2 to 100. And if it doesn't divide evenly, then it's a prime. Okay, I've heard people say that one. This one, from 2 to number divided by 2. I never really understood why they put number divided by 2, but anyway, many people think, oh, just go half. Okay? If it doesn't divide, then it's prime. Others, a little bit better. They say 2, then 3, then every odd until number minus 1. Another one says, well, 2, 3, then every odd until number divided by 2. Okay. So, if you did the first way, take about 99 tries. The second way, about 50 tries. I'm just doing approximate. I didn't actually count. Okay. This one 50 tries. This one 26 tries. Okay. But the correct way to do it is 5 tries. You're like, wow. Let me explain why. Let's look at a 100. Now, obviously, 100 is not a prime, but we're going to use 100 to explain why it only takes 5 tries. Okay? So, besides 1, we call 1 a unary. It's not a prime. Okay? So, besides 1, let's look at the factors of 100. Well, it's 2, 50, 4, 25, 5, 20, 10, 10. So, if you wrote them down, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50. Now let's go through here and start dividing. Well, 2 goes into 100. Okay? 50 times. 4 goes into 100. 25 times. 5 goes into 100. 20 times. 10 goes into 100. 10 times. 20. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to test 20. Because 20 was the result we divide by 5. 25. I don't need to test 25 because it was the result of 4. And 50. I don't need to test because of 2. So when did it stop needing to test? Not at divide by 2, at the square root. So you really only need to go up to the square root of 100. Okay, in this case 101. Well, that's less than 11. Okay, so 2 And you only need to look at the primes. It's no use looking at 4, okay? So you only need to look at primes, okay? Not worry about odds, primes. Let's look at this for 101. First prime is 2. Next prime is 3. Next prime is 5. Next prime is 7. The next prime is 11. Okay? So you really don't even need to test this one. Okay? So really 4. But some people like to test it just in case there's some error in their division. But anyway, you only need 4. Okay? So 4 or 5. Just depends on how you want to do it. Okay? All right. So let's code it using lists. Okay? So I want you to find the code. I want you to write the code to find the primes. Okay? Well, I'll actually do that for you. All right. So let me get my thing here. All right. So I want you to see how I do this so you can start thinking some of these other things. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, because 2 is different, we're going to put that list of primes, we're going to start it with 2. Okay? And that's our initialization. Okay? And let's do this for, say, 100. Okay? So for I in range 3 to 100. Okay? Now I started at 3 because we know 2 is a prime. So we're going to start the next number. No sense in starting at 1. 1, of course, is a unary, which is not a prime. 2, we've already found. So the very first number should be 3. Okay? So now what do we do? Okay. The first thing we do is we're going to say that prime is equal to true. Okay? Now you could also use 1. Now true and false are the Boolean values that Python uses. Okay? So prime is equal to true. So we're going to assume it's prime, but then if it divides evenly, we're going to change it to false. Okay? So now we're going to do for number in list of primes. In other words, we're only going to test primes. Okay? So the first thing we're going to ask is if number is greater than what's this? What am I doing here? Okay, I. Okay, we're doing I here. So we want to know if it's greater than I raised to the, well, 0.5. Okay? If that is true, we are done. Okay? So we can break. Okay? And because prime is set equal to true, if we hit here, then that is a prime number. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing we want to check. If number percent I is equal to 0, then we need to say prime equals false. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and break. We don't need to continue the rest of this. Okay? All right. So if it finishes here, it's going to go to the next number. Okay? List of primes. If it finishes, okay, but of course it won't finish because this will happen first. Okay? But anyway, if it finishes, then we can ask here if prime is equal to true, then we're going to do list of primes dot append I. Okay? And then we're done. We're going to print list of primes. And then I also want to print the number of them. Okay? So this will tell me how many primes there are between 2 and 100. Okay? All right. So open it in Command. Let's assume I didn't make any mistakes here. So this is Python lesson 19.py. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I did make a mistake. Woohoo! Lots of mistakes here. Okay. Num is not defined. Okay. All right. So let's go through here and look at the mistakes I made. Okay. I did a division wrong. I is going to be bigger than number. So this should be I % number. Okay. And then down here I did num when it should be the length. Okay. All right. That was bad. All right, let's try this again. There we go. So 25 primes between 2 and 100. All right. So how about between 1,000? Let's do it again. 1,000. Save. And there we go. 168 primes between 2 or 1 and 1,000. Okay? All right. So we built a list. Okay? That's the most important part of this project. Building that list and using it to make a very fast prime calculator. Okay? To get your list of primes. Okay? How about up to 100,000? Let's see how long that would take. And done. Okay? There's 9,592. Okay? This is going to be very fast, much faster than those other methods that most people would talk about. Okay? All right. So let's go on to the next item here. Test yourself over states and capitals. Lists are a great way to learn school material. Let's say you have a geography test coming up and you want to know the states and capitals. You can use lists to keep testing until you got them all right. One of the very first things I did when I got my TI 99-4A, that was a long time ago, was create me a program that would help test me on my Spanish. Okay. I loved Spanish, but I wasn't very good at it, at least in high school. Later on, when I went to go visit Mexico, I got much better. Okay. But so what I did is I had the word in English or Spanish and then the definition, okay, or the translation. And so I created myself the same thing, except I didn't use states and capitals. I used English and Spanish. And that is how I prepared for my test. It was a lifesaver, okay, because I didn't want to have to create flashcards. This is much, much better, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and code this using lists. So how are we going to do this? Let's see. Should I do it for you or should I make you do it? All right. I'll make you do it. But let me go ahead and give you a hint. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and minimize this. And let's see here. Let me find my list of capitals. There we go. So what I did is I searched on the internet and I got the list of state capitals, and then I deleted, the rest of them. I only took the first 10 here. Okay? So, I'll probably do the next video showing the solution, but I want you to try it first. So you're going to open up the file, read it, and you're going to create a list of lists. The first list, the big list is going to contain a bunch of little lists. The first item in that little list is going to be Alabama and then Montgomery. The next item in the list is another list, Alaska, Juneau, etc. Okay? Now, your homework is to go through them and randomly choose state or capital. Okay? For example, the first question might ask me, what is the capital of Alaska? And then I would have to type in Juneau. The next question might be, what is the state with the capital of Sacramento? I have to type in California. Now, if I get it right, you should delete or pop the item from your list and keep going until the list is done. All right, so that's a simple version. A more complicated version was to keep asking until you got both of them right. In other words, if I asked you Arkansas, then you type in Little Rock. And then if I asked you later Little Rock, and then you type in Arkansas, then you delete it. Okay? So, let's assume the first question was, what is the capital of Arkansas? I had to put in Little Rock. If I got that right, don't ask that question again. But later on, ask the question, what is the state with the capital Little Rock? Okay? And if I get it right, then you delete it. If not, you ask it again later. And put a counter in there. Okay? If I finish in 20 tries, which is exactly how many tries it would take to get all of these right both ways, then you could say something like, "You're magnificent, Marcus." I don't think no way I can get all 10 of those right without studying first. I am not so good at geography. All right. And then, if it's more than 25, between 25 and 30, you might say, you need to study more. And if it's more than 40, you can say, "You suck, Marcus." You can say anything you want as long as it's just to you. Don't do that type of stuff if you're trying to sell the program to others or let others use it. Okay? So, see if you can do that. All right? Next, if you understand how to do that, then you're going to need to do some logic for this next one. What I want you to do is to then have 3. AL is for Alabama, I do believe. AK is for Alaska. Arizona. Is it AZ? I think so. But anyway, I want you to find a list out there. I'm sure you can find it. Or write a program that will combine the 3 items together. That would be nice. Okay? And then you're going to give a test. 6 different ways. For example, ask this, expect this. 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 Okay? Is that 6? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do believe so. Okay, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 different ways. Okay? And again, if they get it right, then don't ask that specific way again. You can set this all up in lists, keeping track of which one they got right, which one you haven't asked yet, which one they got wrong. Okay? Keeping a counter. Do it all in lists. See if you can do that. Okay? You might want to cut this down to 5 if you're going to test all 6. Otherwise, it's going to take a long time to do that. Okay? Because that'll be 60 questions. Okay? But anyway, it is very good practice because sometimes you're going to be given a project and not told how to do it. For example, here, I'm telling you to make the matchups, but I'm not telling you how to do it. That's your responsibility. How to figure out how to make the list, set up the list in such a way that you can keep track of what you've asked, which ones have been gotten right, which ones have gotten wrong, so you can ask again or skip, depending on whether they got it right or wrong. So this is very critical part of being a programmer. It's not, oh, Marcus, do you remember how to open a file? Marcus, do you know how to make a list? That's not the important part of being a programmer. You could look that information up on the internet. Okay? The important part of being a programmer is being able to think, how do I do this program? What do I need to do? How do I set this up? Okay? So I want you to try that. So that's part of your homework also. To be able to set up the program, to be able to do all this. Okay? Yes, I think the next video will be the actual solutions to all of these. But I want you to give this a try. Okay? All right. Let's go on to the next one. Adding two long numbers. Now, I thought of this because I had to do this before. And in other programming languages, you actually have to do this if you want to add two long numbers because they can't do long numbers. Okay? I don't know about the newer versions of C, but the older versions of C, you couldn't just type in, 1,000 numbers plus 1,500 numbers and add them together and expect to get a nice long number. It just didn't work that way because integers had a limit. I've been testing out Python and there's no need for this program, but I still want you to write it. Okay? So I want you, here's what you got to do. You got to take in both numbers as strings, not as integers. Okay? First, print the answer. So in other words, convert each one to an integer, add them, print it out. Then, take every number you got and split it. Because it's a string now. So you want to put it into an array. Okay? And then you're going to, not an array, I'm sorry, that's another language. You're going to put it into a list. And then you're going to add them together. Okay? You'll need to use this, max of AB. Okay? At least I used it when I wrote the program. Max of AB just returns the largest. So I'm not going to do a special video on how to do max. Okay. So here's what you got to, there's two different kinds of numbers you need to worry about. Oh, to make this simple, no negative numbers. All right. So you've got two numbers you add together. Okay. Same size. This is the easiest. The harder one is this one. Now remember, when you're storing it into an array, they're going to be stored backwards. Probably. Okay? Because you need to add these numbers first. Okay? Called the units digits. Okay? So this is going to have to be the 0th position, the first position, the second position. Okay? And then the same thing here. Okay? So let me go ahead. I think I've got a solution here. I've already done. So you can actually see what I've done. This was my test stuff. Enter a number. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter a number 1, 2, 3. So what I've done, well, the correct answer is 1357 when you add those together. So what I did is the first one there is I created a list. I put 4, I took this 3, made it second, took this 2, made it third, and put this 1, made it fourth. And then 1, 2, 3, I put the 3 first, 2 second, and 1 third. That way I could add it correctly, because that's what you need to do. You need to add the units, and then add the tens, and then the hundreds, etc. So 4 plus 3 is 7, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus nothing, that's going to be a little tricky part, is equal to 1. And then I converted it to string. Okay, you use str. str of a number makes it a string. And then I use concatenation to write this all out as 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay? All right. And so what I did is I just first off put it into a list, and then later processing for creating the quiz. I'll finish the rest of it for your video next time. Okay? So this is how you do this. So let's do it again. Enter a number. You can make it as long as you like. Enter another number. We can make it, even longer. Now, Python doesn't care. Okay? And there is our answer. Look, it's the same. Okay? And there is the list that you would get. All right? So, I want you to try to write that program that will put it into a list. And then, of course, you got that state capital question quiz. All right? So those are just interesting ways to use lists. And I hope you'll enjoy. Oh, well. Hopefully you'll be successful, okay, in doing those. Don't worry, I will walk through it for the next video, showing you exactly how to do it. But please try it on your own first. Okay? All right. That's it. Okay. I don't think there's going to be much of a homework file. I haven't actually done that part. I'm just doing the video first this time because, yeah, just showing you different uses. So I'm not going to really have a homework file this time. Okay? All right. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.